guys, it is Tanya, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another apartment renovation. Today I am back renovating Stonestreet Apartments number 4, which is an apartment in Evergreen Harbor. I'm trying to think, I always get confused as to what neighborhoods they're in. I think this is in the Quarry area. So anyway, the theme we're going with today is one that I was not familiar with before I got a suggestion to do it. And honestly, I get a lot of comments from you guys sometimes where it's from a show or a movie that I've never heard of, or just an aesthetic that I'm not familiar with. And something about this suggestion, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna dig further because I'm pretty sure, well, this is definitely referenced in movies, films, like TV and books. It's not specifically only from one thing. And it sounded like a fun style to go ahead and play around with. And that is cyberpunk. And I was specifically asked to build a cyberpunk criminal apartment. Something about that was just so appealing to me. So of course I dove in and did some research and looked at a lot of reference pictures and kind of dug deep on that to try to get an understanding of what this style was. With that being said, this was my first attempt at anything in this style, my first time hearing of it. So it's probably not perfect. There's probably something that I missed or got wrong. So this is just my interpretation of a cyberpunk aesthetic. So with that being said, I am going to grab a quick definition for you guys off of Google. That way, if anyone else is not familiar with this idea, you have a better understanding concisely what we're going to be doing for the remainder of this build. So, according to the internet, cyberpunk is a subgenre of science fiction in a dystopian futuristic setting that tends to focus on a combination of low-life and high-tech, featuring advanced technological and scientific achievements such as artificial intelligence and cybermetrics juxtaposed with a degree of breakdown or radical change in the social order. Apparently, a lot of this was kind of rooted in the 60s and 70s in a lot of literature, and it has some other interesting aspects in culture as far as drug use, the sexual revolution, and technology, and it does avoid more of the utopian ideas of a lot of earlier science fiction of all the positives and beautiful buildings and stuff. This is kind of a more grungy, rundown feeling. So that's a basic understanding. I did a lot more research than that when I was diving into this, but I just wanted to address like a very simple definition. But anyway, with much of the beginning stuff out of the way of explaining what we're doing, I talked over a lot of this, and the kitchen space came together really quickly, I think. I had a lot of fun with it, using some of the more futuristic looking items that we got both with Strangerville and Get to Work in implementing those in this apartment, and kind of putting screens where I don't think there would normally be screens, because a lot of what I was seeing in reference pictures were just areas of homes or buildings and stuff that were covered in various like television screens or computer screens, touch screens, like anything that could have been a futuristic, like anything that existed was now more futuristic, but everything, I don't know how to explain this, but basically it's like you walk into an old house, there's like old furniture and it's all beat up, everything's run down, but all of the technology is incredibly updated. You feel like you're in this future world, even though everything that's not technological is just crumbling around you. That's what I was going for here. I don't know if I achieved it, but I was having so much fun exploring it. So hopefully it at least looks like I sort of understood the concept. I think it does, but you guys can let me know what you think of this apartment, what you think of the style, if you were familiar with it ahead of time or not, how you think I interpreted it. And yeah, also if you'd like to grab this apartment, it's pretty expensive. It's like 101,000 simoleons, but I do have it up on the gallery if you'd like to grab it. You can find it under my origin ID, which is Gryphi, or the hashtag MissGryphi, and I will have all of that in the description down below with a link to the gallery website as well. One thing that I thought was kind of fun here is I put some like fake windows that behind them I put some of the screens from Moschino stuff, and in my screenshots I set those to be the city. So it's like a futuristic looking city outside. Kind of silly. And I know I could have put this apartment in San Myshuno instead of in Grimm's Quarry in Evergreen Harbor, but there's just something about the shape of this apartment and how it wasn't in a high rise. It was more in this shape of building that felt more right, which, you know, it's just my interpretation. I think it's more so the shape of the apartment than anything. You could definitely do this style in any apartment, but I had fun decorating this one, and I'm still not over having new apartments in The Sims 4. I feel like a lot of us assumed we would only ever have them in San Myshuno, so it's really nice still to have them in Evergreen Harbor as well. But over here by the television, we end up having a second screen up top, a clock, a ton of like, it kind of looks like servers, maybe? That is that big block. I believe that is from, I think that one might be Strangerville, but it also might be Get to Work. I used a lot of those 2 packs. I'm not entirely sure what everything is. Another thing I did was having kind of blocked off floors throughout, using some of the dance floors from Get Together. I saw a mixture of different textures on floors in blocks like that, as well as like cardboard boxes and like ripped up flooring all over the place in a lot of reference pictures. So I definitely wanted to make sure that I brought that into this build. So we're not there yet, but since I'm about halfway through this voiceover and we haven't talked about how this is a criminal apartment yet, I wanted to mention the thought process I had behind that. So there's a secret room in here. You could kind of see I've been throwing random items in there that I thought I might use a little bit later. It is accessed through a bookcase door. I wanted to call it a bookhouse door. I don't know why. A bookcase door in the bedroom. And in there, we have lots of robots and robot pieces, like robot limbs. And I'm thinking maybe we're selling some robot parts on a not so nice place and doing some illegal trading, and I think this sim is probably getting into a lot of trouble if they get caught. But they haven't got caught yet. They're just rolling in simoleons, and it's totally fine. You might see a couple bags of simoleons around this place as well. I add those way at the end. That was something that popped into my head immediately when I knew I was going to build this apartment, and then I forgot to add them. So I went back and added them later. But the main living space is finished now, and we are heading on into the bedroom. One thing that I really used a lot of in this apartment is covering up the windows with these garage doors that came with City Living. I feel like no matter which windows were here, they didn't feel right. I liked the idea of whether you never saw them or they were sometimes open, but you had this big pull down garage door over the windows to close them and you could lock it, seemed more to fit the style I was going for. I also used a lot of these TV monitors from Strangerville that aren't like functional TVs. They just have like the mother plant on them because they just kind of felt right. I also use this bar, not as a bar, but as a decorative piece here in the bedroom because I really, really liked the texture and all of the various signs on it, and it just felt right. I feel like a lot of the items I picked, it just was like, yep, this is it. This is the one. This is what I need. So this room has lots of posters, a lot of just stuff hanging up. I also have the virtual reality thing in here. I'm going to switch it out for the other one momentarily. But I also made sure to add a laptop as there's a lot of technology here. So I thought that was probably a good thing to have, especially because no matter if you're doing a futuristic build or not, your Sims definitely need a computer. So I thought that was necessary. I also have a gaming console, even though that is not a regular TV, but I think I do have a regular TV in this room somewhere. And then just switching out that virtual reality thing, the chair in the living room, and I also have a few different droids. Or not droids. Are they droids? They're drones. I have a few different drones in this apartment. I don't know why I was thinking droids. I guess my mind is just all up on Star Wars right now, since there are all of the leaks and assumptions that the next game pack might be Star Wars themed. Maybe at some point in the near future, if you're watching this not when it goes up, you'll know. Are we getting a Star Wars pack? Are we not getting a Star Wars pack? Were we being tricked? But anyway, this is that back room that's a little bit secret that has all the robot parts and full robots in these containment units and stuff. It gives me major Doctor Who vibes, like Cybermen. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's kind of the whole thought process behind this. And I do know, I wanted to mention this because when I was doing some research for this build, that the idea of having a criminal was kind of counterintuitive or didn't quite make sense because a lot of what I was seeing is there isn't really law, but I guess it really depends on how you interpret this and what way you have seen cyberpunk, and I don't know, there's a lot of different ways to interpret it. There can be criminals in some universes for different shows or books and stuff you're watching. In other ones, there is no law enforcement whatsoever. So what is being a criminal? Is it just not being a nice person, doing things to harm others, doing sketchy things? I feel like it's all up in the air, but I thought this was a really, really fun build to do. So thank you to whoever had suggested that. We're just working on the bathroom now. I think that's really the final thing I do other than adding in the bags of simoleons throughout. Also, we have a talking toilet. If we're gonna have like this technologically advanced apartment, we needed a talking toilet. When can you use a talking toilet? This is when you can use a talking toilet. So I was really kind of excited about that because I don't know if I've ever even used those seriously because I think they're really, really weird and uncomfortable. So yeah, that's the bathroom. This is the apartment. I hope you guys liked it. It was just something fun and different to do, and I probably wouldn't have thought to do it without your suggestions. So if you have any other fun suggestions you'd like to leave below, I'm open to hearing them. And we're going to be heading on into screenshots. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And if you click that bell, it'll turn on notifications so you'll be notified of every single time I upload a new video. Thank you guys so much for watching and enjoy the screenshots. Bye, everybody.